It's time to uplift your heart through the 4 pathways to fulfillment with your host, Sahara Exodus. Each week, Sahara will explore fascinating topics such as signs, blessings, and miracles, prophecies and shamanism, as well as understanding the relationship with self and others, and guidance for healers, artists, activists, and innovators. Welcome to an inspiring, timeless moment that will leave your heart fuller and your spirit expanded. And now, here's Sahara Exodus.
Hi, and welcome to Uplift Your Heart. Today we'll explore a pathway to fulfillment by understanding the relationship with ourself and others with caring, love, and intimacy. Aloha, I'm your host, Sahara Exodus. I'm an intuitive counselor and a shamanic priestess. Thank you for being here in this sacred now moment. If you're watching on YouTube or listening to this podcast, welcome. I made a slight change since the last episode. Instead of being exclusive to one radio show, I'm exploring other options. Since this is new, I may be going through some shifts over time. I hope you got a chance to check out my introductory show about this unique podcast. There's 4 parts, so today will be 1 part on understanding our relationship with self and others. If you didn't get a chance to see the intro, let me briefly explain the show outline. In the beginning, I may explore how the astrological timings for the day and key cycles are affecting your mood and relationships. This is one example of how planets and stars could be affecting your emotions. If you're listening to this much later, consider this just as an example, a starting point to discuss our personal inner world. So I'll unwrap sacred nuggets along the way and show you how to better get to know oneself. I'll share how to infuse yourself with love and offer wisdom on how this may help improve your relationships with your partner, family, and friends. Originally, I was going to offer the show with live callers, but for now I've decided I'll just keep things a little bit more simple. So instead of having callers share their questions, I'll answer some common questions about the challenges that you may be having with yourself or others. This will offer you some general moral support. I understand that some of you in this audience may be feeling a bit vulnerable with the concerns of our global cultural situation. During this great awakening, it may be affecting your sense of security and personal world, both with the challenges and the joys. Overall, astrologically, this is a powerful opportunity for a soulful release and renewal. It's important that we take the time to look within and embrace an introspective new start. If you tend to those spiritual needs, you'll be rewarded. At this time, the archetype of Libra and the number 2 sign is symbolized particularly with our inner world, which is connected to our spiritual journey. Typically, this is more about partnerships, but today we'll explore the duality within us. As we make time to grow into our sacred hearts with new challenges over time, it will naturally affect our outer world. But first, let's go inward. Since I'm a shamanic priestess, I like to weave the spiritual elements within my shows. So let's meditate for a moment on the question, what is your soul's essence? Now shut your eyes and think about it. Consider what this is meaning to you. Feel into it and breathe. What is your soul's essence? Say to yourself in your mind, what is my soul's essence? And just breathe and feel. From my personal perspective, the soul's essence is energy, life force. It's connected to the universal one. The soul is also individuated. The inner world is quite feminine. It's a sense of beauty, like the inside of a flower that opens up. But the source field, think think opposite, more like the beast. So one is infinite and one is finite. On a more subtle and simple place, this source field could be a combination of colors and vibrations, sounds, broken down into numbers, math, basic shapes like triangles, squares, circles. And those simple shapes could form sacred geometry. And then the source field can be a combination of all those things: numbers, math, shapes, sacred geometry, colors, vibrations, and sounds. Think about that. And this inner experience can start off as a connection to our head, connecting to the ability to manifest our desires. But first, we need to become a mastermind, visualizing what we want in our lives, not what we see. So let's begin the relationship with self. Often we start from our head down to our heart. We can make a head-heart connection. This is the foundational principles of having a relationship with ourselves. This is super key before we could truly begin to relate to others. Sometimes life could seem so complex, it could leave us feeling confused and conflicted. It could be like a bunch of things wrapped all together, like winter scarves, gloves, hats, where all the tassels and strings are all tied together in knots. Totally frustrating. You have to literally unravel one item at a time and also undo those knots. Most things can be salvaged, but although there are some items that are just too delicate that can become ruined. This metaphor is symbolic for the moments in life that just may not make any sense. We can make the efforts to undo these layers, but we need to take time to ponder. These are like the subtleties that begin to make sense when you formulate each piece and sit with it, like pieces of a puzzle that begin to create an image. The complexities actually have meaning, while divine timing deciphers the messages that now become evident in this process. Even with all of these parts, they need to be put together to form a complete picture. We need to be patient with divine support and allow us to trust the perfect moment for our life to become more clear. So on that note, let's share a positive affirmation together, shall we? So I'll say it once, and then you can repeat after me the second and third time. I grow and become a better version of myself every day. I grow and become a better version of myself every day. I grow and become a better version of myself every day. Okay, let's go to commercial break now. Thank you. Hi, my name is Sahara Exodus, and I'm a fully qualified shamanic priestess. I'm also a certified counselor and a third-generation intuitive. I'm also a transformed survivor, now thriving, and I've been offering private sessions for over 25 years, and the main focus has been intuitive counseling. And with that, I also have more of a holistic approach where I work with the heart, soul, mind, and body. I offer compassionate, loving services here to support your personal journey. One of the foundational sessions that I provide is intuitive counseling. The main focus is on the relationship with ourself and others while exploring personal difficulties. If you are in a meaningful relationship, you may be having some challenges, and perhaps you would like support to examine potential solutions. When looking at oneself, there could be old abuse traumas resurfacing that could be reflected from core wounding. Other issues may be related to grief, loss, or feeling frustrated with being frozen in time. Or perhaps you're centered on the global news while attempting to process this big shift. Maybe you're just feeling psychologically stuck with the enormity of it all. while having existential concerns. Working with the guide is a gift to your being. It's an act of self-love. Come and experience tender, loving care for your feelings. Explore understanding for your inner child. Recognize old sabotaging patterns that are affecting your present life with support to transform them. I'm here for you. Welcome back. Now let's explore how these inner shifts may be affecting our outer world, particularly with the relationships with others. Okay, until we fully heal all the old childhood wounds, the neglect, and also transform our inner programming and learn to live in a state of harmony, we may have sometimes an experience of discord with others. For example, our inner world is about our sacred inner beauty, while our outer world is about our animal nature. These are two exact opposites, so it takes an understanding on how to alchemicalize these forces together, like the yin and yang symbol. So here it is, the yin and yang. It's a big circle, on one side is white, the other side is black, and each side has a speck. The black has a speck of white that takes you into the white zone, and the white has a speck of black that takes you into the black zone. And if you want to think about it three-dimensionally, it's more like a sacred spiral. That's the beautiful yin and yang symbol that is a great image for harmony. So we need to find harmony within ourselves first between these two opposing opposites before it becomes more obvious and evident on how to be that way with others, especially your opposites. So even in like-minded communities, there could be infighting where the strongest one becomes territorial, must be number one, the pack leader, while the other one becomes the second wolf. Think about that. It's interesting. This can manifest also with our families, businesses, schools, couples, relationships, groups, etc. When we become more masterful within ourselves, then that mirrors outside of us in the relationship with others. That includes harmony. That's the juiciest, best part of relationship, isn't it? For example, two leaders can respect their similarities and their differences. And this happens because there's inner confidence, there's self-love, and just being comfortable for who they are on all levels of their being. But without that confidence and self-love, they can react territorially. That may be symbolic that there's just one thing in that person's life that they haven't addressed yet that is showing up with this infighting. So again, taking the time to get to know yourself, developing self-confidence, self-love, and just generally being comfortable in your own skin is the stage and steps to move forward into more peace in your life, with others especially. And sometimes when we complete a journey with someone that may be very significant at one time, there could be key signs in this relationship that it's ending. Perhaps on some level you just feel used, unappreciated, or maybe you become totally on different wavelengths over time. Not that it was ever meant to be that way, it's just the way things evolved or devolved. You just might feel used or unappreciated, where the energy just doesn't feel right anymore. If you take the time to transform old childhood programming, this will certainly affect your present life in the moment. This is very key on being peaceful and happy to nurture mutually compatible connections. There also could be signs showing up in your life, such as a container that shatters glass all over your kitchen floor. And this may represent that the container can no longer contain itself. It clearly is showing a sense of a tipping point that's been reached. When there is emptiness, there is space for the new. Life is a stream of ebb and flow. As to evolve in life is to grow. Besides getting a handle on one's relationship with ourselves and others, there's also our connection to the global issues. our relationship to the world culture. Right now, you may be feeling a sense of vulnerability with concerns about these world issues and world problems. This is totally understandable. So it's important to make time to cry, to get angry, and just generally to share your feelings with a confidant. But once you've had a good rant, it's important to find balance. Balance is key. So ask yourself, what truly brings you joy? Maybe you've just been focusing too much on work and negative news and just not having enough balance in your life. If so, I'd like you to take a moment and meditate on what brings you joy. So just shut your eyes for a moment. And just breathe into that. What brings you joy? It shouldn't take too long to figure that out. So open your eyes, and if you have a notepad, just quickly jot down a few points. And later on down the road, when you have time, write in your journal in greater detail what truly brings you joy. Write a few pages of it. It'll be really delicious to your heart to really get a handle on that joy. Now place your hands on your heart and say with me 3 times. I'll say it the first time, and then you could repeat after me the second and third time. I deserve joy. 1, 2, 3. I deserve joy. And again, say it like you mean it. I deserve joy. Yeah. Now breathe into that. Breathe into the joy. And feel those air particles just floating around your heart. Feel the sparkle of joy in your heart and how incredible that is. Joy takes time. So please consider creating some spaciousness in your schedule to rest, to dream, and to enjoy the life that brings you joy with those special activities that just lights your heart on fire. And also consider making time to be outdoors in nature and get under the radiant sun and take your shoes and socks off and just enjoy the earth and the sun and the sky and the water in your glass, your water bottle, the air. Just really take in those beautiful 4 sacred elements. That'll certainly bring you some joy. And in those moments, practice not thinking, just being present in that incredible beauty. For beauty is true joy. During this great awakening, it may be affecting your sense of security and personal world with both the challenges and the joys. So this is a great opportunity to trust in the divine plan, to visualize a better future for yourself and everyone, and let go of expectations and attachments by being truly centered in the moment. Namaste, and thank you for being here today. I hope to see you again for our next exciting episode. In the meantime, take good care of yourself and blessings.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in next week for some more medicine to uplift your heart with another pathway to fulfillment. In the meantime, you can learn more about Sahara Exodus at priestesssahara.com. May your soul know you are perfect right now as your heart expands into light, love, and acceptance of this moment.